Alright, so today we're going to be looking at a Zacama deck. And this isn't in sleeves. I just started working on this today, and I've just about got it where I want it. There's just a few cards I don't own, so I'm going to have to go to my LGS and pick them up this weekend for the deck. But I'll go over what they are at the end. But for now, let's look at Zacama. 9 mana for a 9/9, Vigilant Shriek's Trample. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, untap all lands you control. And it has 3 abilities: pay 2 in a red, 3 damage to a creature, 2 in a green, destroy an artifact or enchantment, 2 in a white, gain 3 life. Alright, so what we're wanting to do with this is not go Dino Tribal. I think Gishath is better suited for that. What we want to do with him is abuse the fact that we're going to untap all of our lands every time we cast him. So I'm going to start with the ramp because we're not doing it the normal way that people would think to do it. Most people would think for the mana doublers. I'm not using the mana doublers. I'm just using hardcore ramp to get to where I need to be for Gishath. So in our creature ramp, we've got Zertaw Druid, Bloom Tender, Knotvine Mystic, Drum Hunter, mainly because he draws us a card at the end of every turn. Omnath, Druid of the Anima, Magus of the Library, Selvala, Explorer Returned, and Somberwald Sage. And then our regular ramp package, Thematic Compass. And it flips into a, really? Can't think of Maze of Ith. I had the card in my head, and for some reason the name just kind of disappeared for a second. Harrow, Cultivate, and an actual Storm card, Sprouting Vines, Farseek, Rampant Growth, Nisa's Expedition, Spoils of Victory. That is a name I can't pronounce. I mean, I could, but it's probably going to be wrong. Peregrination. Oh, never mind. Probably still wrong, but I feel like I nailed it. Boundless Realms, Journeyer's Kite, and Hour of Promise. We've got really the removal. I don't have much removal because Zacama kind of does all the removal that you need. So I've got a Beast Within and an Ablation. We've got, let's look at our protection. Since we do want Zacama to resolve and be protected. Heroic Intervention, Spellbreaker Behemoth. So he is an uncounterable Vigilance Trample Reach that untaps all your lands when you cast him and does nasty shit. Spearbreaker Behemoth, we can pay 1 to give Zacama indestructible. And Paleoth. And pretty much with Zacama, anything that we've lost throughout the game, and there is reasons that we could lose our own stuff on our own account, we can just get it back as we start casting Zacama over and over again. We've got some tutors, in which really, Genesis Wave isn't a tutor, but it is a tutor. Because in this deck, I don't intend on casting Genesis Wave unless I can Genesis Wave for damn near my entire deck. And then Genesis Hydra, essentially the difference between the Hydra and the Wave is the Wave gets all permanents revealed that are mana cost lower. The Hydra gets 1. Signal the Clans, search for 3 with different names, and you get 1 of them at random. And Eldritch Evolution, sack a creature, search for a creature with mana cost X or less, X is 2 plus the sack creature's mana cost. Alright, here is our card draw and card filtering. Cream of the crop. And this is a card that For some reason, I don't see anyone play. I play the crap out of this card. This card is amazing in any green deck. When a creature comes into play under your control, you can look at the top X cards where X is that creature's power. If you do, put one on top, the rest on the bottom in any order. So if you play a 5/5, you look at the top 5 and pick one. You're digging 5 deep. You play Zacama. Every turn, you get to dig 9 deep to search for what you want to be your next draw. It's an extremely powerful card that no one wants to use. I've not seen anyone use it, and it's just so good. And some more filtering. Path of Discovery. When a creature enters the battlefield under your control, explore. Just straight up harmonize. A Beast Whisper. And a Greater Good. And then, we're almost done with everything I've got pulled out. All I've got left is some combos to talk about, and then value. So here's value. Right here, because if we don't get the Zacama win, we do have a few mana sinks, and these are going to help us with those. So Seedborn Muse, untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step, and Wilderness Reclamation at the beginning of your end step, untap all your lands. So it just lets us have multiple ways to sink mana into our mana sinks. That's a combo. That. I guess we'll just go ahead with the mana sinks, and we'll save the combo pieces for last. Mana sink number 1, Waker of the Wilds. Pay X into green. Put X/1/1 counters on a land you control. That land becomes a 0/0 elemental with haste. It's still a land. So we've got an infinite mana combo over here that we're going to go over after these mana sinks. And we've got Zacama that can generate infinite mana. So there's 2 ways. One that is like halfway at our fingertips, and the other that we have to dig for. But 2 ways to get infinite mana that we can make all of our lands infinitely big, hasty dudes. Mishra's self-replicator, and this one kind of goes with Zacama specifically because when you cast a historic spell, Zacama's historic, you can pay 1 if you do make a token that's a copy of Self-Replicator. So every time you cast Zacama, when you start going off, you get a Mishra Self-Replicator. And we've got Biogenic Ooze. The only thing that matters is you pay 4 mana to get a 2/2 Ooze token. Dragon Whisper. The only thing that matters on this card is we can pay 6 to get 4/4 Dragon tokens. And Dawn of Hope. Again, the only thing that matters is we can pay 4 to get 1/1 lifelinking dudes. And then what do we do with all those dudes, especially if we generate infinite mana and we can go. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out because that's a win con. We can use Samut, Voice of Dissent. I don't know if it's Samut, however you want to say it. But essentially, she gives everything haste. That's what's important there. And the other one is simple, good old Goblin Bushwhacker. Swing in with infinite tokens and kill everyone. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the Zacama combo first. Once you get, so he costs 6, 7, 8, 9, the ability 10, 11, 12 mana. 12 mana in play. You can cast Zacama, untap all your lands, tap your lands. Now you've got 12 mana. Use 2 of it to bounce into your hand. Then use 9 of it, which leaves you with 1 left over. Cast him again, untap all your lands. Every time you do this, you will net 1 extra mana. Simple. This is your commander, so that part you don't have to find. All we have to do is worry about finding the Temur Sabertooth. And our other infinite mana combo. A simple, corny, yet effective infinite mana combo. Devoted Druid, 0 remedies. Put a -1/-1 counter on Devoted Druid, untap it. So you tap it for mana. Activate the ability by putting a neg counter on it to untap it. So you can tap it again for mana and keep going. But normally you can only do this twice, that ability, because it's going to die. But the Vizier says if a negative counter will be put on a creature you control, put that many -1. So every time you go to put 1 on it, the Vizier says put that many counters -1. So you put 0 counters on the Devoted Druid, and you get infinite mana. So that's our 2 ways to get infinite mana to abuse our mana sinks. And how are we just wanting to win the game straight up? So there are 3 ways. One, I just really like this card, so I put it in here because I really just want to go infinite with Zacama and play a Liege of the Tangle, have infinite mana up, use Zacama's 3 damage to a creature to kill this Liege of the Hollows. Did I say Liege of the Tangle? Yes, I did. I meant Liege of the Hollows. Play Liege of the Hollows, have it in play, use Zacama to kill the Liege of the Hollows, and then sink all of my mana into this to make infinite 1/1 squirrel tokens. Yeah, so that's that one. The other one is Aetherflux Reservoir. Anyone who played when this was in Standard knows that this can do stupid things, and if you've got infinite mana, you've cast Zacama infinite times. Doesn't matter how much life your opponents have, you can laser beam everyone to death. And the last, just straight up, I'm going to win out of nowhere. And I'm going to do it just because I can, because no one wants to play this in Commander. Well, if I'm casting a single card 1,000,000 times, then I'm going to win with this card. And if you guessed Grape Shot, you guessed right. And this combo up here, I'm going to go over in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and bring out Godsire because I do have an infinite combo with Godsire. That goes along with Zacama. And this has to do with the cards. They're from, I think, Ice Age. They are 3 mana artifacts, and they all have the same text except for a different color. So the red one is a 3 mana artifact that says, whenever you cast a red spell, you can untap a permanent. And there's, or it's either a permanent or a creature, one or the other. And then there's one for white and there's one for green, and all 5 colors have one, but I'm only going to be using the white, red, and green one because I can cast Zacama, tap Godsire, make a token, then cast Zacama, artifact triggers, untap Godsire, bounce Zacama to my hand, tap Godsire, make a token, cast Zacama, artifact triggers, untap Godsire. There's going to be 3 of them, so there's going to be redundancy with it because all 3 of them are going to be in here. So I will be guaranteed to get one of them. And if I hit a Godsire and the Zacama combo goes off, well then I've got infinite 8/8 tokens just coming out. And this combo right here. Infinite turns, not necessary, but I was just looking at the cards and I seen this, so I figured why not. Ramanop Excavator, play land from your graveyard. Buried Ruin, sack it, get an artifact from your graveyard to your hand. Mirror of Fate, sack it, exile your library, choose up to 7 cards you control from exile, which you choose the 7 cards before you exile your library. But you choose 7 cards and put those in the place of your library. And Ugin's Nexus. If a player will begin a next turn, that player skips it. If this will be put into your graveyard, exile it, take a next turn. So you use a comma, destroy this, take a next turn. Use Mirror of Fate, sack this, put Ugin's Nexus on top of your deck. Use Buried Ruin, get this back. Use Ramanop Excavator, play Buried Ruin. Next turn, cast, use a comma, sack, get it back, rinse, lather, repeat. Infinite turns. It's mana intensive, but this is a ramp deck, and if we've got the mana to cast as a comma, then we have the mana to do this combo. I'm not going to go over the mana base because I don't have that finalized yet, but I'm thinking with all the ramp that I have, most of what I'm using is going to be searching out basics. This is going to be very basic heavy and a little bit more budget than normal. So yeah, that's what I've got going for Zacama. I hope you enjoyed the deck, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.